Today you're going to start working with shapes in Photoshop. You'll learn how to use the custom shapes that come with Photoshop and be able to draw your own with the shape tool. So to get to our shape tool, over here on the menu bar, there are these three dots. You can click and hold and you'll see the shape tools, the rectangle tool, the ellipse tool, polygon tool, line tool, and custom shape tool. Let's start working with custom shapes first. Now these are the shapes that come with Photoshop. If I select the custom shape tool up here at the top of the menu bar, you can drop this arrow down and you see all these shapes. There's a better way to see all these shapes. You come up here to window and down here to shapes. You'll get an expanded size window. And like I said, these are all shapes that come with Photoshop. And down here, there's something called legacy shapes and more. If you don't see that, click on this hamburger menu right here and it flies out. And down here, you can click on legacy shapes and more and it will appear in this window. And as far as the display of shapes, you have the option of clicking on showing text only, small thumbnails, and you can import shapes that you may find from somewhere else. Let's use a shape here. This is under wild animals. So I'm going to select this tiger right here and drag it onto my image. And right away you have a properties window that comes up. And in the layers panel, you have a layer that is a vector image of your, in this case, a tiger. And here you have this chain. You want that selected. So if you want to change your width and height by these transform parameters here, it will keep the aspect ratio. So that's one way to change the size of your shape. You can do it that way, or you can use the transform tool. But now fill is a color of your shape. I had already sampled like the color of the elephant shape behind that. So I'm going to select that for my fill. And I'm going to close this because I want to select my layer and use my transform tool to resize my shape and move it around. You can change the shape like that. I can add a tree here. And again, as I add the shape, my properties comes up. And if I want, I could change the height and width here, or I could use the transform tool. I'm going to change the fill color of that shape to match everything else. And I think I want to put a bird in here, so I'm going to grab that. I want to change my fill color of the bird to match everything else. And again, I want to use my transform tool, Command T, and resize it and reposition it, something like that. And so you have all these different shapes that you can use in different images. You can fill them with different colors. So that's how you would get started with just the custom shapes. So now let's look at how we can draw our own shapes. So again, I'm going to come down here to these three dots here and click and hold. So I'm going to select the rectangle tool and hold the shift key down to constrain the shape's proportions. And as I draw, and I can hold the space bar down and move it around. As soon as I let go, I have the on canvas menu that comes up. Let's go up here to the top menu and explain some of the toolbar options. So we definitely want a shape, but that's definitely the mode we want to work in. Fill, if you click that, that is the fill color of your shape. You can choose from any of the colors in the swatch here. Stroke, I'll show you what stroke does. If you click on that and you click on another color, you can set the stroke width right up here, and I'm going to change that and you can see what stroke is. So that's what stroke looks like. And when you click on stroke and you click on this white box with the red line through it, your stroke goes away. And up here you can set your width and your height manually. If you highlight this chain right here, it will change your height and width proportionally. So you see I'm changing it, it's changing proportionally. You have that same option over here in the properties. They call it your live shape properties. You can change your height and width of your rectangle in this case, change your fill and your stroke. You can change how rounded the edges are going to be. I wanted this to be a square, so it's 0 pixels. So this allows you to round the edges of your rectangle. You can see how I'm doing that. And because this chain is highlighted, it does it proportionally to all corners. Up here you have path operations. This is how your shapes interact with each other. Every time you create a shape, in this case, when this is checked for a new layer, every time I create a new shape on this canvas here, it's going to be on a different layer. And you can combine shapes. You can use the path alignment to align and distribute your shape components. You have path management to set the stacking order of the shapes that you create. You have additional shape options with this gear right here. And once you've drawn a shape, like in this case, I just drew the rectangle. If I click anywhere in the canvas, it brings up this dialog box and I can create another rectangle here. And of course the properties come up every time I do create a new rectangle. If I come up here and click on combine shapes and click down here again, create a rectangle. If you look in the layers panel right now, you can see that both of the rectangles are on one layer now instead of two. When I moved my rectangle over, they both moved because they are on the same layer. I'm going to change that back to new layer. So something that's kind of interesting to do with shapes. So custom shape, we come back over here and bring up our shapes. I can search for something like, say, star. Here's all my star shapes. You have all these different stars. I'm just going to put a few of them out there. Just kind of resize them here just to show you something. So with custom shapes, I've created a 10-point star, 10-point star with a frame, and a 5-point star. And with my polygon tool selected, if I just click, I have this dialog that says create polygon, but it says number of sides. I can say 7 sides and a star ratio. Let's say I'm going to make this 25 and say okay. And let's close this, say Command T, and I'm going to resize my star just like this. So now I've created a 7-point star using the polygon shape tool. And if at any time you want to edit any of your shapes, all you need to do is come into your layers panel, highlight the shape that you want to edit, come up here to window, properties, and here is your on canvas menu that you could make your adjustment. You could use your transform to change your width and height, or you can change the fill color, or if you just want to scale your shape up and down, you could use the transform tool. It's Command T and just scale it. Because this is a vector, it is going to maintain the quality of the shape. If you're getting value out of this so far, hit that like button and consider subscribing. So now that we know how to draw our own shapes and edit them, let's do something with it. I'm going to start with File, New, and I'm going to create a new document, say 1280 by 720 with a white background. Any size document will do. I'm going to start off by clicking on my menu and getting the ellipse tool. I hold down my shift and draw out my ellipse and use my space bar to move it around at the same time and draw my ellipse right there. I'm going to close this and I'm going to come up here and to my fill, and I'm going to click on this white icon here with the red slash through it. That's no color. I'm going to click on stroke and I'm going to make it maybe, let's say 7 pixels. That's what I want my stroke at. Now I have an ellipse, no fill, and the stroke is 7 pixels. And I'm going to draw another ellipse, hold down my shift, draw it out, hold down my space bar so I can move this around. And I can see my guide at the top where it's pink, and I kind of want it centered, but I want it smaller, so it's about midway, so right about there. And again, I want no fill, and I can adjust my stroke here and make it say 7 pixels, just like that. I can close my properties, so that's 2 different ways you saw me get to my properties. And now I could say Command T and use my transform tool to move this around and make it smaller, so it's about centered. That's about where I want my ellipse. Click my check mark, and now I want to duplicate that last ellipse with Command J. So I duplicated my top layer, and I'm going to move this down and position it there. You can see my guides. I think I want to position that down a little bit more, something like that. And now I want to duplicate the last layer that I created, Command J, and I'm going to move that over here to this side. I'm going to duplicate that last layer and move this over to this side, get these all touching, something like that. Now I want to go to my menu, click and hold and get my rectangle tool. I'll hold down shift and draw my rectangle. I don't want a fill, but my stroke, I want it to be 7 pixels. And now what I want to do is I want to actually change the shape of that rectangle, bring it in a little bit, Command T, and try and move it around in here to where I want it. So far I've created all these shapes within my original ellipse. Now what I want to do is put all these shapes in a group. Let me select all my shapes, say Command G. We're going to call this group shapes. I'm going to duplicate that group, Command J, and I'm going to say merge group. So I put all those shapes in a group and duplicated them. I don't need them, but that's just in case I need to go back later and make any adjustments to them. So now all my shapes are on one layer. Now we have a design here. We have our shapes that we made into a group, and then we duplicated that group and made all our shapes on one layer. I am hiding the original shapes group, and now I have an image that I want to actually put in all these little different areas here, and we're going to use a layer mask to help us out. So I'm going to drag this image into my project here. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Click my check mark. And right now I'm going to hide this image. And I'm going to select individual areas here, one at a time for right now. But I'm going to get the magic wand tool. And I have a 3x3 average tolerance set to 32, anti-alias checked, and contiguous checked. Be sure that you have your shapes layer selected and click on your image, and I've selected right here in the middle, and I'm going to click on my image here and turn it on and make it visible, and click on my layer mask down here. So now you see that that image is right here in the shape. And one thing you should make sure you do is click this link so that the thumbnail here and the layer mask are independent of each other. And if I click on the thumbnail and say Command T, and then when I move my image around, you can see that it is changing what is seen in that one area of the layer mask. If I click my check mark, so this is going to be a pattern here. So I'm going to duplicate the last layer that I was on. I'm going to delete the layer mask, hide my layer, come down to my shapes, get my magic wand tool, click and select an area, come back up to my image, make my image visible, get my layer mask, click on this link here, and now select my thumbnail, say Command T, and I can move this around any way I want. You can also rotate to get a different pattern. So that's the pattern. First, duplicate that layer, delete the layer mask, make that image invisible, select my shapes layer, use my magic wand tool to select an area, come back up to my image, make it visible, hit my layer mask, make sure that I uncheck this chain that links those two together, click on my thumbnail, hit Command T. Again, I can rotate this, click on my check mark. I'll do this one more time, then I'll show you how we can speed this up. So Command J on my last layer. I'm going to delete my layer mask, make this invisible, come down to my shape, select the area with my magic wand tool, come back up to my image layer, turn it on, create a layer mask, click this chain. Now if I want to reposition that, I just highlight my thumbnail, say Command T, and I can move my image around however I want and click my check mark. So if you want to speed this up, a good way to do it is say Command J to duplicate the top layer, delete my layer mask, turn off visibility to my image, come down here to my shapes, use the magic wand tool, but this time hold Shift, and I'm going to select 4 of these areas at the same time, come back up to my image, make it visible, hit my layer mask, and I fill those in at the same time, click this chain, and now say Command T, and I can move those around just like this. I'm going to speed this up and do the rest of these areas here and come back into the video. So now I finished filling in all the different areas of the shapes with the background image. So now you can do a number of things here. You could change the background color, but what I want to do is I want to bring in an image, actually the same image that we were using for these shapes, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. So that's our background now. Adjust it here to whatever we want, and there's a number of things you can do to this. I'm going to click on my shapes, I'm going to double click, and I'm going to come up here to color overlay, and see that changed the color of all the shapes. You can change that to any color you want. I'm going to say okay. Also, what you can do if you want to increase the color saturation here, you can bring a hue and saturation adjustment layer. You can increase the saturation overall, change the lightness of the color, something like that. We made a design from our ellipse and rectangle tools, and you basically watch me make the thumbnail that I use for this video. If you want to know more about Photoshop, click or tap on one of the videos on the screen now. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, and share this video. Thanks for watching, and remember, it's never too late to learn. See you in the next video.